And here we are on Deet and the Geek. We're back at Cyberline. We're going to be building Deet's new gaming PC. I am determined to make Deet the awesome gamer I know he can be. So show us what we're going to be doing here today,
tell
guys.
them who we got. We got Travis.
And
working here. Travis, good to see you. And of course, Sammy, right here at Cyberline.
Yeah.
And I have a pinball machine in my basement, so I don't really.
Well,
that's gaming, isn't it?
Does it run World of Warcraft?
It can.
Okay, well
Yeah,
then,
if you set it right on top of it.
I bet you'll get more frames per second out of this baby than you will out of your
Probably
pinball
so.
machine.
So we are going to build a PC right here, a gaming PC for me and Sammy and Travis, and this genius is going to show us how to do it.
Yep.
So anybody can build a computer, but it's better for Cyberline to build it for them. Right?
Let the pros handle it, you know.
Yeah,
We'll,
really.
we'll take care of what you got to do. What we're going to do is start from scratch. Now, we have a prepped case. Selected a micro ATX build, which is a little bit smaller. Now, we did that because we want to maximize the airflow in the machine, because we're going to be overclocking this Pentium processor.
That's a fan? Is that what you're,
No, we're going to be overclocking this Pentium processor. We're not going with an i5 or an i7. We're actually going with this Pentium processor because this specific chipset and board will allow it to overclock to 4.4 gigahertz.
Whoa,
and we're going to
that's
do that
pretty
here today for you guys.
Okay.
Overclock.
Now,
Overclock, that's
now
what this does.
every processor has a clock speed.
Correct.
Right.
Oh.
But you can overclock it if you can cool it. Because see, if you overclock it, it works so fast that it heats up so fast that it can destroy the chip. So as long as you have enough cooling to keep it cool, you can overclock it without worrying about damaging the chip.
Wouldn't it be better just to get ones you don't have to overclock with?
Well, it depends.
Okay, I don't know, but it sounds.
Well,
why would you overclock anything?
Well, there's a price point there. You know,
Oh.
you can get save a little bit of money on chip and overclock it, as opposed to paying for a really expensive chip. And that's a good reason why someone would want a custom gaming rig over maybe, say, buying one off the shelf.
Correct.
So,
No, there are some advantages.
oh yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so we got that.
So what do we do first here?
Well, we've installed the pins and the headers, which allow the case to communicate with the board. These have already been pre-selected and pre-done. Technician did this earlier. We have the USB header, the onboard audio, and then the LED reset and the power indicators. Without these, nothing works.
Nothing happens.
Nothing
Right.
works. So what we're first going to do, I guess we're going to install the power supply first, and then we'll proceed to the processor and the heatsink.
Okay.
That's the heatsink.
That is the heatsink. That's
What can I help you with?
That's what's
Yeah.
going to keep us cooled down.
So what you're saying is these wires here, they hook up to these ports here on the front. On
Correct.
the case. Okay.
That's what allows the board to communicate with the case.
Right.
Okay, we're back. We've uncrated everything, and we're ready to go right now. And it looks like a junkyard here. What's going on? No, it does. But I mean, a good junkyard.
Gotcha. I see.
Right.
I
You know
got
what
you.
I'm saying? I'm sorry.
All right.
All right, so now we're going to proceed to the power supply installation.
Nice.
Not too bad. Everything, all these little cords and cables are going to what's going to communicate and give power to everything and breathe life into it.
Ah.
Looks like an octopus a little bit, doesn't
A little bit, something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Travis, have you ever put one of these together before? Have you?
Yes.
You do this every day, probably, right?
Not every day now.
Not every day. All right, that goes right there. Oh, I see. Okay, there's your little power thing. Yeah. I even knew that because it's got a little plug in there. You see?
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you got to plug the.
Electricity goes right in.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You know where these go?
Oh yes. So I usually always call this the octopus. I don't know what
I
you
just
got.
said that.
Yeah.
Were you listening to anything I do?
No, I was watching him.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got all these different connectors here. All right. So there's some that go to different components. For example, these go to the motherboard.
Okay.
All right.
That's motherboard.
So these right here are actually for your drives, for your hard disk
Okay.
drive. And then they also have these right here, which go to, this is a little older style of power here, this little 4-pin. And these are 5-volt connectors that go to things like power the fans on the video card. Some of the older models of, say, your CD-ROM drives and stuff like that will have this kind of connector on it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
And the trick is
Maybe, yeah.
to get these things routed, put in place, and then secure the rest so they're not flopping around in there, getting kinked up in your fans.
Do they have clips for these? Would you clip them in somewhere?
Tie straps.
Tie straps.
Yeah, use
Little twist tie thing?
twist ties and yeah. So
Now, how long would it normally take to build a computer? Just curious, from scratch. Of course, we're going to run things fast. And all
On the
that.
average, it's going to be anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour and a half, sometimes 2 or 3 hours. You can run into complications. You can run into things not seating properly, incompatible parts. But so you really want to do some research and make sure that the parts and things that you're ordering are going to be custom and they'll work together, because not everything's going to work on its own.
That's probably the biggest thing, is making sure each piece is ordered properly, because you get one little thing that's wrong and nothing's
And
wrong.
all of a sudden you gotta go back and get something else and get a different part. And
Or just let Cyberline build it for you and you don't have to worry
all
about
right, so we got
Don't yell
power.
at us.
it. Yeah, we'll yell at you. Okay,
All right,
so now what happens?
So we got power. I'm just gonna separate this out because I know that's what he's gonna go for next.
Give me Travis, I'm just moving around.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to connect. This is called the P1 and P3 connector, or P4 connector. Old school all the way through now, and this will just connect directly to our board, like so. Might have to turn it around, that might help.
Wow.
It's
Only
not
goes
visible.
one way, right?
This is true. If you
So
try to
only
put it
goes-
in the wrong way,
and it won't go.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
this is cool that way, and then
Okay.
we'll secure this out. Just kind of put this down here for right now. And these here, usually what will happen with, it looks like an octopus, that's funny.
Remember the movie Aliens?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. All right.
These are important. These are going to go to our GPU. These are P4 connectors. Sometimes they come in 6 or 8. And these we're going to connect our GPU for our graphics card so we can play some games there. This over here, this looks like a Mod Podge. Again, the same thing. These are still pinouts. This one here, since it's longer, we're going to put this up here towards our optical drive. And then we're going to go here to leave these sideways, because these are, again, for our video card. Those are important. And what usually happens, you have a couple leftovers. Those are going to go right in here to our drive bays. I'll feed them through the corners. And so what will happen with these is these guys will connect our SATA drive or our SSD drive.
Okay.
Oh, so that kind of looks like, all right.
All right.
Come on over here, Travis.
Next.
I'll get in my place since I'm doing nothing.
All right. So he's gonna hook up.
I do that well, don't I, Rodney?
Yes.
Okay. So far, it doesn't seem too complicated, folks. But you have to know what you're doing.
I have a mother.
Seconds.
Huh?
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
All right.
Okay.
So that's your hard disk drive there. That's a hybrid. I can see that. Yeah. Okay. And we're just going to slide that into with this drive bay right here. And you'll notice it just slides right in and right out, so you can take it in and out easily.
Oh, clips in.
Yep. All we got to do is get power to it and then connect it to the motherboard.
Simple as that.
Yeah. So he's running power to it. I'll go ahead and take that for you. So this is your SATA cable. This is what connects it to the motherboard. There it goes. Let's put one in there, other end on the motherboard, and now you've got your disk drive connected. There was multiple ports on the motherboard. You want to make sure you get it in the right one.
That's important.
Yeah. So.
Okay, good. So this is phase 1, ladies and gentlemen, of building a computer.
Yeah.
So far it wasn't bad. So we're going to be back in phase 2 in just a little bit.
All right.
And I'm going to take over from here. Okay.
Let's.
see.
Yeah.
Now
whoa,
this,
yeah. Okay, so here we are for phase 2. We've already done phase 1
Right.
by putting in the motherboard, putting in the power supply. We've put in the hard disk drive. We've connected the power to the motherboard and to the hard disk drive. And now we're ready to move on to the next phase. So what are we going to do next, guys?
Yep.
Let's get Deet's gaming PC rolling here.
You got to be able to have this, even though it's legacy or old school, if you call it. Same deal. This, sometimes you might get a disc, or you might have a digital copy of a game that has their own disc, or for DLC.
Actually, Deet still has some data on 3.5 floppy. Do you?
Yeah, do you need that? I got a 5.5 floppy too.
Sure, we can
Okay,
get you
well,
that too.
Can
as
that
well.
work?
Well, let's just go ahead and put this in for now. So
This
show
guy
us
got
what
his
you
force,
got.
because this is still a little bit more modern, at least. I'm going to put this DVD writer in there on the side, and that drive is going to also connect to the rest of the machine.
All right, so we got the slot here at the.
Well, these are all removable little slots for stuff, right? Because these are.
Well, the trick is to get it flush. So he's got. There we go. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it slides right in there, and then you line up the holes. See the holes here?
Yeah, yeah.
See the holes right there? He's lining up the holes, and then this just clamps down.
Holds it right in.
Holds it right into place, and it's nice and flush on the front. Let's see right here. Yeah. So
That was very, I could have even done that maybe.
Hey, it used to be you had to get in there and like screw 4 little screws out.
I remember
those screws back in to try and get it, but now
Pops right in.
Everything just pops right in. Exactly. All right,
A lot
so
easier.
obviously you can't operate the drive without power though. So,
Power's important.
So now that's what they're going to do. They're going to connect it to the board just like we did the hard disk drive.
Okay.
And he also has the actual the not just the power, but the motherboard connector so that it can communicate with the
Yeah,
rest
I
of
know without the motherboard you got nothing. Is that right, Sam?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's like having your engine blowing a motor.
Just,
That's it.
yeah.
The transmission or motor, however you look at it,
Just-
you got to have it in order to get somewhere.
Just
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
All right, so there he is. Got that connected nice and fast there.
Yeah. How about that?
All right, so now we got both drives powered and connected to the motherboard. What's next?
Next, I guess we're going to go with the CPU.
All right, so this is the brains of the operation.
Okay, most
This
important thing.
this little brainiac right here, that is the central processing unit.
That's kind of,
So-
without that, the nerves are nothing works.
Exactly.
Correct.
That's, yep.
So,
Billions
is
of
that
little
breakable?
transistors
Travis,
on there.
Is that a breakable thing?
Very fragile.
It's very fragile.
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 There you go.
Fragile.
So if you look on the bottom of the processor, you'll see there's actually a ton of little pins. And those little pins only fit a specific way into these little sockets right here. So what he's going to do is he's going to drop it in. All those pins go down in the socket the correct way.
Just one way.
He closes the clamp. And then when he clamps it down, it takes all the pins and
Pushes them right in there.
pushes them right into where they're supposed to go.
How about that?
Exactly.
So you can't do it wrong, is what you're saying.
Well, you can.
Oh.
If you try to shove it in there the wrong way, those pins, back me up here, guys, what happens? Yeah, they
They bend, and then you're playing
Exactly.
pinball again, and you're not
Well,
playing
and
with
they're
this.
so small that you can't really,
Fix them.
yeah.
Now,
So,
what, is that expensive? That thing?
That's
CPU?
probably the second most important thing of the expensive
Yeah.
parts of the
Expensive thing,
boards.
That's the most expensive.
This guy here is what's going to make you get off. This right here is
That's part of that's the gaming thing, right?
that's true. This is what separates a really hardcore gaming computer from just your standard off-the-shelf browse the web type of computer.
This is several $100s, I imagine.
Yes, it
at
is.
least.
Yep. So, but we're not going to do that yet.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that yet.
We're not going to do. No, okay. Save the best for last.
Save the best for last. What are we doing next?
we have to cool the processor.
Okay, let me see that.
Let's
Thermal
say that.
paste.
Cooler Master. Okay.
Okay,
So-
Cooler Master.
So what this is called thermal gel.
So it's a jelly
Yeah.
or a.
Well, watch what he does with it. He's going to put it right there on top of the
know.
CPU.
I didn't know you were a doctor, Travis.
Yeah, a little syringe. And the heat sink is going to sit directly on top of that.
So that's glue.
More or less. It bonds the heat sink to the top of the CPU, and what it does is it allows for the efficient transfer of the heat from the CPU to the heat sink. So basically all of this heat that the CPU is generating
Goes up in here.
goes up through that thermal gel and as dissipated through this heat sink.
So otherwise it would burn up.
Right, otherwise that CPU would destroy itself within a matter of minutes.
Seriously.
Yes.
But there's no fan. It just.
No. Older model heat sinks had a fan built in on top of them most of the time.
Right.
The newer ones are a lot more efficient. They transfer the heat a lot faster, and so you don't necessarily need a fan. You can still get them with the fan, I believe. But a lot of the newer high-tech models really don't have to have a fan on them anymore.
Okay. And just put those right into place.
Well, and a lot of it depends on how your fans are set up in your case. So for what we're going to do for your gaming rig is we have a fan in the front right here. And if you look, you can barely see it right down in there.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, and that fan is going to draw air from the front of the computer and push it out the back. So as the air flows through your computer, it's going to flow across that heat sink, which
So
is
it also helped there.
right, and that's why you can see it's got that horizontal orientation, so the air can flow right through it.
But you also have to clean. Don't you, Sammy? Every once in a while, you have to clean these things up because dust gets
Oh,
in there.
absolutely.
Then that'll burn out a fan.
Correct. We call that preventative maintenance, or PMs. Every so often, 3-6 months, on the average, at the minimum, probably once a year. Bring your machine in. We just clean it out, blow it out, dust it, and wipe it down real good for you, make it look almost brand new, and make sure that you don't have any leaky or blown capacitors, your fans aren't failing, and your power supply is still going strong.
So in other words, bring it down here, and in a couple days you got your computer back, and
There you
you're
go.
sure that it's, and plus it's a fire hazard, I guess.
Absolutely,
Wouldn't
it can
be
be.
a fire hazard.
It can be.
So now what he's
Okay.
doing,
All right.
taking your other fan.
I like fans. We have a couple on the show, though.
Oh, so okay, this is the heat sink fan. All right, good.
So it
deal.
has its own
So
fan
it does
as
have its
well.
own fan.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So good. So that's going to draw that air directly across that heat sink, blow it out the back.
Wow. So this thing's going to be cooled most of the time.
Absolutely.
Oh yes, big
That's
time.
very important. All right. Excellent.
And then the next step would be to do liquid cooling if we really wanted to go crazy.
We can't drink on the show.
No, that's just true. So.
All right.
All right, so this smaller fan is going to be the case fan here that's going to assist that CPU fan with drawing it out of the back there.
So there's another fan.
So we got a
there's
total of
actually
three
three fans in here.
Well, actually, there's going to be a total of 7 fans in your gaming PC. So we have
Oh,
one
you
here.
got these over here.
That's right. You have one here,
Right.
2 there. There's your third one.
Yeah.
There's 3 on the video card over there.
Right.
You also have a fan right here in your power
We have
supply.
7 fans. Now, that's not normal for a regular PC. This is
On the
just
average,
for
you know, between 3 to 4 3 to 4 fans.
Okay.
Right.
That usually does you pretty well. A minimum for just a basic computer, you got to have at least 2.
Yeah.
One on the cooler for the CPU and one to blow air or suck it out of the actual case.
Now the older PCs, because you have a history wall up there now.
Correct.
Did they have fans in them too?
Yes, they did. They were
Like
a lot
probably
smaller, probably
one
about
fan.
30 and 40 millimeter fans, really tiny. And you know, they would run and sound like a spaceship, wee, real high pitched, you know. And these are much more energy efficient. They run cooler and they last longer.
And they're a lot quieter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So now you've got your case fan on there, nice and tight.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, we're going to take cut away for just a second. We'll be back with more of how to bend up. Let me know if I can help do anything. Seriously. Let me.
Well, here. Just rest your hands right here and hold it steady for
Okay,
me.
I got it.
Hey,
I'm-
you're set.
Well, we're getting there. It's about halfway done, more
Yeah.
or less.
A little
Right?
over halfway. We've got our cooling, we've got our fans, got our CPU in there. Power's looking good. Everything's connected to the motherboard.
Perfect.
What do we got left here, gentlemen?
We got 2 main components. We have the memory or the
that's-
RAM.
that's
Thanks
important.
for the memories.
You want memory, trust me.
I need.
Yeah.
I'm losing mine right now.
Yeah.
Then we
Thanks
have
for the
our
memories.
monster GPU.
Now, it's important to note that the Monster GPU, in and of itself, is almost like a miniature computer.
Correct.
It actually has
The same
processing units on it
Inside.
and has memory in it.
Exactly.
So the more
Cooling.
powerful of a GPU you have and the more memory you have in your video card,
Better off for gaming.
the better you're off. Exactly. You get better frame rates. The game just runs smoother,
No
faster.
buffering.
Well,
Heat sinks.
yeah, exactly.
Keeps it cool.
Yep.
So that's a whole compact unit.
Pretty
Absolutely.
much. Yep.
No wonder it costs a couple dollars.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Huh? We're moving along. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
So there's our memory. Now this is high performance memory.
Wow, that's a lot of that's a
Yep,
lot
16
of memory.
gigs memory. Yeah.
Now that just clips in. The memory, where you put it in, hasn't really changed much on computers.
Nah, not really.
Yeah.
Nah, it used to be you had to kind of snap it in
Yeah.
sideways. But, all right, so what he's going to do is he's actually going to slip his fan back off here so that he can get to the memory slots a little easier.
Yeah, they are.
There you go. And I'll hold these, open that up for him. All right, so there's
Only
one.
goes one way again, folks.
This is true.
Damage it, right, Sammy?
Absolutely.
Oh,
You got to
yes.
hear it click, just like the drive.
Well, that's pretty simple.
Not too
Most
bad.
people are afraid to get inside a computer. All the magic dust goes out of it.
All right, there we go. So you see
2
these,
clicks.
these are clipped in. They're holding that
So
in
they're
place.
all
We're good to
moving.
go.
All
We're going
real
to slip
good.
the fan back on here for you so that you can stay cool.
I try to be cool.
Oh,
That's why
yeah.
I'm getting this new computer.
All right, so here is
Okay.
the piece de resistance.
This is it.
This is it.
The biggie.
The gaming video card.
Without this, you got nothing, right, Sammy?
So slides right in there. Snaps into place. You got it?
Thought it was. Hold on. I think we're in there.
That's close.
There it is.
I think she's good. Watch that.
Oh, no, hold on a second.
No.
Hold on a second. There you go.
Oh, okay.
All right, so that slides right into place into that blue slot that you saw on the motherboard.
Right.
You do want to make sure, obviously, you secure it in there. You see he's putting the screws in there.
Okay. Otherwise, it'll fall right out. I guess.
Exactly. So
Wow.
that holds it in place, and you'll notice
Or that screwdriver.
Oh, yeah.
it's not just connected to the motherboard there through the slot. There's other connectors that have, and actually I think Sam has one. You got them right there. Yep.
6 or 8 pins.
Yep. So it does draw a little bit of power from the motherboard, but for something like this that has this much power on the video card and has 3 cooling fans, you got to have external power coming directly from your power supply.
To that.
To the
video card
exactly.
itself.
It will not boot without
Somebody thought of that and came up with that, folks. Isn't that somebody like you?
Maybe. Or
Nobody could be smart. Maybe Sammy.
there you go. So like
Sammy did it.
that. So what do we got left? Is that
That's it, right?
That's it.
That's the computer?
We're ready to go.
That's it.
So from here, we put the case on. What would you have to draw? The operating system.
Got to have that,
Yeah.
right?
Drivers, load the game on for you, and up and away you go.
Okay.
So
Well, how does this, I appreciate this, by the way.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep.
I noticed you have looks like some older toys here. Now, I have one of these at home, but mine has the door.
I see. Yeah, I was a little hard on it.
Yeah, I
you know,
can tell.
jamming the cartridge down when it wasn't one of those.
if the door is missing, you know it was well used.
Yeah,
I used to
absolutely.
have
Tell
one
us
of
how
those.
these differ, real quick, we got about 4 minutes. How do these differ from what we've got here and about the year that they
Well, the
came out?
difference is this is an 8-bit system. So if we take you back a little bit further, you had Atari. I had Atari 2600. You know, everything
Yes.
was the way to go.
Combat.
Absolutely, man. Gotta have it. Gotta have it.
All right.
Nintendo came out and kind of just took the industry by surprise, and everybody had to have one. Prior to this, or after this, excuse me, is probably going to be your Super Nintendo. The Super NES kind of ruled the 16-bit world. And
Yeah.
yes,
This
this was.
this is the PlayStation.
That's PlayStation.
Yeah, so that
PlayStation's
was
a little bit different. That
Yeah.
was the first introduction to a CD-ROM. Besides the Jaguar and the Sega CD, that was early 90s, say 92, 93, somewhere around there.
You were 2.
I was 7. I was 7.
I was a little
I
older.
had one, but I do
didn't know what to
remember
do with it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So this,
So the CD drive, well, you say
It's a little old.
Look, you broke it.
I probably broke it.
Yeah.
it's stuck.
Here, I got an idea.
And the button stuck. Okay, yeah, there you go.
Okay, I'm just trying to help folks.
Then we moved into 2000, 1999. The Dreamcast came out.
Oh,
Yeah.
Real one-hit wonder. It was good. Everyone flocked to it, and then it just kind of went
Kinda fizzled.
downhill.
You got to see your handhelds there.
It did.
Yeah, you got
Handholds,
your-
old retro. You had Sega's Game Gear, and then
used
of
to have
course
one of those,
everybody
yeah.
had a
Game
Game Boy
Boy.
at one time.
Scratched up this. You didn't take care of your toys as well.
Well, you better take care of this one because it's not cheap.
No,
Actually,
no.
how much is this retail for now?
This retails here for about $14.99.99.
Okay, all
That's
right.
with labor installation and your operating system of choice, Windows 7, 8, or 10.
That
Right.
includes that.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. That includes the operating system. Wow, that's a deal.
Installed and ready to go. You do have to actually plug it in when you get home, though.
I could probably do that.
Okay, all right. So you're all
So, what's that, Rodney?
So what do you do after this, since you put it all together?
Yep.
What's the next step?
So, they would load the operating system on probably through the USB port, but got to make sure you get the drivers on.
Correct.
The video card drivers, very important.
Obviously.
Yeah, this is an NVIDIA card. All right, so NVIDIA card, you come out with your GeForce drivers, and that gets installed. Make sure that you have access to all of the advanced programming interfaces and whatnot that the game's required to run.
Well, he'll do all that for you, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay, so I don't
Put
have
that
to.
on there.
I don't have. I just go home and plug
All
it
you
in.
have to do is plug it in and turn it
That's
on.
why we
Yeah.
come to Cyberline.
And install the game. You got to pick your game and install it. So what do you think?
Well, whatever you think I'm good at.
Let's try some WoW, man. We think we need to get you on there.
Well, maybe we can start off
Like
with
we?
some
Negative.
Start them off with some solitaire or something.
I don't know. I only play that by myself.
Oh, okay. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty. That's pretty much it right here at Cyberline. And folks, let me tell you, what I did, I had them build it for me. Be smart and let them build you one.
There you
Because
go.
I would still be getting it out of the box.
Actually, no. I should probably take this home and test it out for him first.
Sure. Yeah, I'll never see it. If you need it done right here at Cyberline, thank you, Travis,
Thanks,
and the whole
appreciate
crew
it.
for being
Absolutely.
with us
Job well
over
done.
here. And
Anytime.
Rodney will put a little thing up there where you can call and come down here and
Love to have your business.
check it out. And thank you very much. I
You need
appreciate
help
it.
with that?
Wait, we got to pay for it first.
Yeah,
I got to pay for it. Yeah, let me go get my wallet. I'll be right back. Okay.
I swear he's good for it.
Okay.